who've had like 5, 8, 10, women, right? I don't see that in the short sort of sight that those men have a hard time, you know, uh, emotionally attaching to a woman. I think that's not, I don't think that might be true. I think that might be true with men who have had indiscriminate sex for a long, long time and have not learned how to kind of bond or connect with someone, beyond just the sex and the physical sort of attribute of connecting with someone.
The sex affect men emotionally.
Sex in another room right now, come back here, and it would not affect us in the slightest. Whereas for women, to have sex with some stranger is a much bigger thing for them, except if a woman has already been with 100 guys. And then in that case, it isn't that big of a thing. That's the thing. What I'm saying is their psychology, I think, changes over a number of men that they have sex with, whereas ours generally does not.
Yeah, I guess, but the thing is, I feel like partner selection and everything is going to play more into that than just the idea of having sex with a lot of people. And like your background and where you're coming from. Like the example that I would give here, I don't know if you're familiar with this or not. We always traditionally hear this idea of like men ideally would want to juggle like multiple friends with benefits. That would be like the perfect case scenario for men. Every single female friend I have, this I'm anecdotal, but we're all in theory land here. Every single female friend I've had has had at least one issue with a guy that they were in a friends with benefits arrangement with, where the guy got like hardcore feelings, and she had to discontinue it because the guy wanted.
I totally agree. Yeah.
So
I don't think that's the most guys, because
it might not be most guys, but I feel like almost everyone I've talked. I think everyone I've talked to that practices like just like casual sex has had at least one guy that's been like, I love you and I want to be with you forever, and he's like he's done after that. He can't maintain it.
I got to say for you, this is Rolf Dengen here. Women are substantially more prone to sexual disgust than men.
Sexual, what does that mean?
Disgust,
revulsion, disgust, like as in like would want to get away from it. So what I'm saying
I would be really careful with that, because I think you guys claim the opposite, that men are the ones with sexual revulsion when you talk about things like body count.
No. But what I'm saying is that it goes back to the idea that it is more damaging for like women to engage in casual sex than it is for guys, because guys can separate themselves from that emotional investment. If women were more, if they have a higher propensity for sexual revulsion or sexual disgust, I should say, what at least anyways the conclusion I'm coming to in this instance, and I'm not saying they are, but it's that the emotional investment, and we already said that women have a higher reproductive cost in having big head babies and all that good stuff, that would exist as a result of the fact that when they are pair bonding or when they.
All right, the sex affect men emotionally. Go start with Luis. What are your thoughts about it, sir?
Maybe not up front. I mean, I mean, we must be talking about somebody who has indiscriminately have had sex with hundreds and hundreds of women. I think maybe that person might be a little bit out of touch, but I don't see it so much for men who we were talking about earlier about, who had like 5, 8, 10, women, right? I don't see that in the short sort of sight that those men have a hard time, emotionally attaching to a woman. I think that's not, I don't think that might be true. I think that might be true with men who have had indiscriminate sex for a long, long time and have not learned how to kind of bond or connect with someone, beyond just the sex and the physical sort of attribute of connecting with someone. Yeah, that's my point.
All right. Be mad. What are your thoughts about it? The sex affect men emotionally.
It depends. It depends on the factors. It depends on which man. And it depends on which woman that he's having sex with. Depends on how long he's been engaging with this person. Depends on how much he likes this person. It depends on if he sees, a future with this person or not. It depends if he used a condom or not. It depends on quite a few different things. It depends on if he's been with, a lot of women or he's been with only a few. I think all that, makes a big difference in how emotional or non-emotional this man can get. It really just depends. There's plenty of times when, Guys just, hit it and quit it. It's one night stand, whatever, you keep it moving. You don't even think twice. If she got hit by a car the next day and you didn't know it, it wouldn't affect you the same way, But then there's other situations where you hit something that kind of rocks your world a little bit. You like, oh snap! It kind of shook your soul a little bit. You like, I don't know who or what she is. He like, but I'm calling her back tomorrow and the next day, and I gotta get up in that. I need to go ahead and get my pillows and my sheets and just lay up in it. It really depends. You got some guys who don't have as much experience, and the first one they get, they in it. They all in love, shooting up the club, all that kind of stuff. So it really truly just depends. There's a lot of deciding factors in that. I can have sex and not be emotional, but then there's other times where I can be. So if I care enough about you, if we have some type of common understanding and love, or we're building towards something, there's other attributes that I value highly. Yeah, I could get emotional. It's possible, but she gonna get emotional before I do, though.
Well, sex. I'm curious to know, is sex was affecting men emotionally? The R&B brothers of the '90s. The Key Sweats in them.
That was all bullshit. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably a phase. But B man, you said without a condom.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and talk about that raw dog. You said the sex affect men emotionally. You said that if a man chooses to have sex without a condom, that raw dog.
I say it depends. It depends if they have a rubber on or not. If they got one on, it might not be as emotional. But if they hitting it naked head, straight raw dog, and they might feel a little something more than they felt before. Then when they had that going naked head, gonna change a few things now. It's gonna change a few things. You might feel a little different about that person. You might get a little more connected. I mean, again, we was talking about the spiritual stuff before and the soul ties and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that shit is real. That shit is real. So, fellas, protect yourselves. Be vigilant out here. Okay.
Isn't it crazy that a lot of questions get asked after that? Never get asked before then, but after that, there's all type of questions get asked.
You talking about after you hit it raw, you mean? Then people want to ask questions, is that what you're saying?
I didn't say me, I said after they hit it raw. No, say me after they.
No, I'm not talking about you in particular. I meant like after they hit it. Yeah. After they after they hit it raw, then they start asking questions. You mean like the young lady start asking questions? Or he starts asking questions?
Shit, I think it's a lot of questions get asked after that.
Yeah, for sure.
Now it's
for sure. Yeah, now everybody want to worry about their sexual health. All of a sudden, people want to get an idea of like, I mean, do you do this all the time? Is this part of your character? People want to start judging and shit. Well, you didn't put a condom on, so I figure this is how you roll all the time. No, baby, you the special one. I don't never do this, but with you. Or some dudes, as soon as they're getting ready to have it, they're getting ready to get into it. And if she don't ask if you got a rubber, he's judging off top. Well, she didn't ask if I had a rubber. That means she don't care about her damn life. She don't care about her sexual health. And I'm judging because now I think she's a hoe. So it could be a lot of different things going on there.